Hey guys, Willie Renshaw here with another review. I'm pretty excited about this one because this movie really impressed me. But today I'm going to be reviewing Blade Runner 2049, directed by Denis Villeneuve, starring Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford. Let's check it out. I can't really tell you much about what this movie's about, otherwise it might give away some important plot details and I wouldn't want to spoil anything for you. But I will say it takes place 30 years after the original Blade Runner and also directly relates to where that movie left off. If you're interested in seeing the original Blade Runner, I would definitely recommend checking it out before seeing this one. It will make you appreciate this one that much more. So I actually only saw the original Blade Runner a couple days before 2049 came out, and while I could tell for the time it was made, it was probably something that people thought was pretty special. It had good cinematography and anything. Watching it now, it definitely seemed a little dated, and I didn't think the story was particularly engaging necessarily. But this movie, on the other hand, I thought was absolutely fantastic. I think the main reason 2049 works so well is because it's a very solid standalone movie, but it also does relate to the original, and I think a lot of fans can appreciate that. It also deals with a lot of the same themes and tones as the original, primarily being what it means to be human. Another aspect of 2049 that I really appreciated is that I thought it did a great job of improving some of the things from the original Blade Runner that I thought could have been improved. I was talking to a friend of mine about this, and we were both talking about the original Blade Runner and how we felt kind of went off in a couple different directions and kind of steered away from the main storyline. But this movie doesn't do that. It has one storyline, and while it is a thinking movie, you don't have to. It's not a movie that requires multiple viewings to fully understand what's going on, which I think is really nice. Honestly, I could go on and on about the positives from this movie, so I'll just mention a few quick things that really stuck out to me. The cinematography is excellent. Roger Deakins, the cinematographer, I guess he's been nominated for about 13 Academy Awards or something like that. But he's never won one. It definitely looked like, after watching this movie, that they were trying to get him an award. And from what I saw, it looks like he's definitely deserving of that. The score from this movie works perfectly. It does a great job of setting the tone of the movie. And then the acting across the board is all very well done. Ryan Gosling, in particular, really stuck out. His character goes on basically an emotional roller coaster in terms of feelings, and he does a great job portraying everything. And finally, I think you got to give a lot of credit to the director, Denis Villeneuve. This is the third movie he's put out in 3 years. All of them have been well reviewed. You got to give him credit for putting everything together in this one. Everything works pretty much perfectly, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he puts out next. I personally don't really have any criticisms of this movie. I think everything works and flows nicely. But if one were to criticize this movie, I think a couple things they might point out is that they might argue that it's a little bit too long and some of the scenes could have been cut a little bit shorter, or maybe that the pacing was a little too slow for such a long movie. But I would actually disagree with those criticisms. I would agree that it's debatable that some of the scenes could have been cut a little bit shorter, but I think if they would have done that, it would have taken away some of the impact that those scenes would have had later in the movie. And then in terms of the pacing, I thought the pacing was actually pretty good for a movie that was slow. I never found myself bored. I was always interested and definitely kind of on the edge of my seat in terms of wanting to know what was going to happen next, which is pretty impressive to be able to do for a movie on the slower side. So I saw Blade Runner 2049 4 days ago, and ever since I saw it, the more I think about it, the more impressed with it I get. Been thinking for a while about what I would give it in terms of a score, but when you consider the fact that the original Blade Runner is widely considered a classic, it makes this movie even more impressive. It did, as I mentioned earlier, it did such a good job of taking the original, taking some very positive qualities for the original, and then doing its own thing on top of that that kind of improved things for the original. It just came out very well. So with that being said, and I don't give this score very often, but I think I'm going to have to give Blade Runner 2049 a perfect 10 out of 10. This is definitely my favorite movie of the year so far, and one that I definitely highly recommend you guys check out. If you have any interest at all in seeing this movie, definitely go see it. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps it up for today's review. If you haven't seen Blade Runner yet, why not? Aren't you going to see it now that I told you how awesome it is? If you have seen it, feel free to let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you like this review, feel free to check out some of my other ones. And as always, remember to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, take care.